All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is Master Flame, and it's not Master K today, but none other than Grandmaster Mark
Yeah.
Cox. You know, it's
Yes.
always it's always great when I can just like call on somebody and be like, "Hey, you want to do a podcast today?" Yes, sir. Let's go. So
Yeah.
we had
Yeah.
30 seconds to preview this topic, but yeah. So here we are, Thursday thoughts, number
Hmm.
9. The theme is perseverance on and off of the mat. And I know that's something that is a great topic for you to talk about, and something that we talk about all the time.
Yeah. Well, yes, we do. 100%. We do that.
So I,
So,
I jot down 5 notes real quick, and we'll hit these in order and just kind of go from there. And those of you that are watching, whether you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever the heck you're watching, share it, comment, let us know you're there. But the 5 things, 5 steps to persevere is what I wrote down. Number 1, make sure that your goals are worthy of your perseverance. Number 2, recall your past persistence. Number 3, take a step in the right direction. Number 4, set your pace and timing. And step number 5, just keep going, even if it's only in your mind. So, what are your thoughts on that? Number 1, making sure that your goals are worthy of your perseverance. Kind of talking about our why.
yeah. Well, I think, if you want to talk about that part of it real quick, I think that when you sit in, if we want to talk about perseverance and your why, and is the why worthy? I think anybody's why is going to be worthy, right? And I think more than the why is when you go to go do whatever it is you're persevering to do, whether that's build a better relationship with your wife or go to martial arts class or whatever that looks like. You got to be in that moment. If you're not in the moment, you're definitely not going to be. Your why is not going to be there, right? You might have a good why, but at the same time, you got to have a why. And when you're in doing what you are doing, you have to be in that moment and kind of firing on all cylinders to make sure that that why is adhered to. I think that's up for debate, right? What everybody's why is. I think everybody's going to have a why,
Right.
but if you got to be there, I think you have to be present in the moment for sure.
Well, and I know, entrepreneurs, self starters, people that, are constant goal getters. We have these ideas that hit our mind
Hmm.
constantly. And I think when I read that first step and I thought that through, I was kind of thinking like we can't just look at something and would jump at every single thing. There has to be a little bit more purpose behind it, and it has to not only serve you but to serve those around you, especially in our martial arts school. Serving our students. One of the things that I love about this topic too is, and going back to all of our training together and your teaching. Perseverance is one of our 5 tenets of Tong Soo: courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and dominant spirit.
Yes.
Um, it's probably, they're all important in their own mind, but this one is tough for people because when they start losing sight of it, or they start, they're not seeing the results they want to get. It's like, meh, maybe I'm going to move
Well,
on to
I
something
think it's
else.
true. I think perseverance is what it is. Long after the mood that you made that goal, when that mood is gone, perseverance has to stick in because everybody's motivated, but
Right.
not everybody perseveres through the motivation. Okay, motivation stops, self discipline has to step in, and then perseverance has to be in the back seat, pushing forward because to have perseverance means you're gonna do something long after the mood that you said you're going to do it. And
Hmm.
we've seen this over and over again with our black belt club members, right? They make that decision, they get the red uniform, they get the belt on the wall, they're hyped, and then they hit green belt blues and red belt blahs, and we lose some of them in that thing because you just don't have the perseverance to stick out the hard times.
Yep. And with that, I think that we've seen maybe a change, or maybe we can talk about this a little bit too. A slight change in the way that sometimes parents approach a goal, right? And it's the same way. If the parents are losing interest or uh, fighting with their child to go to class, that makes it really hard. I've just personally seen, I just call it the way it is. I mean, I've just personally seen a lot of parents give up way too soon without seeing that vision of what could be in the end.
I agree with that. I think that's 100%. I think that parents quit the classes long before the kids do, and then they'll have an excuse of, well, I don't want to push my kid to do something he doesn't want to do. And you know what? The lesson in is if you made a commitment to go to black belt, then that's where you need to be going. You need to go
Hmm.
to black belt, not go to black belt, right? And so I think that's something that needs to be addressed. You know, just I have a perfect example. I got a black belt here. Mom texts me and goes, he wants to talk to you when he comes to class. And I said, well, if he's coming to tell me that he doesn't want to do class, he's already committed to go to second. I'm not. She goes, that's why he has to talk to you. And so when he came in, his question was, Mr. Cox, I haven't been here for that long. Can I just go to Monday's class and not black belt class? So I said, no. You can go to both classes. Now that I know you have Mondays free, you might as well just do them both now that you're here with your brother. So we'll see you on the mat. And I said, you made a commitment to me. I'm not going to let you out of the commitment. And, that's kind of how we work, right? The parents need us to kind of sharpen them, and the parents need to have our backs when we do. And it just happened to work out well with that particular family yesterday.
Well, I think that's a key point as well. We
Mm-hmm.
have a huge role in a student's goal and perseverance. If we were to allow a student to quit just say okay, I think that we would be failing as a teacher and failing as a coach. I mean, it's mom and dad are one part of the team, child student is the next part of the team, and then us as instructors third part of the team. If all three of us are on the same page, I think that student child is going to see success. If any one of us is not on the same page, that's when we start to struggle.
I agree. 100%.
So number two, recall past persistence. you know um, I like to remind students, hey, getting your yellow belt was hard, but you got there. Getting your purple belt was hard, but you got there, and you get to, like you said, the green belt blues or the red belt
Uh-huh.
blah, right? And it's like, take a moment to step back and look at all those other belts that you achieved, and how many times did you fail for a stripe, or how many times did you struggle then, but you're still here. I know personally I've had challenges where, whether it's a weight loss or a weight program or a goal that I've set, I get really down on myself. Like, I didn't do it. I'm not where I should be right now, but I forget to look back at how much I did persevere before, how much success I have had, and use that to fuel me to the next level. What's your experience in that realm?
Well, I think that's true. I think you have to have some. I say it all the time. Failure makes you grow, but wins make you continue. You know what I mean? And if you don't have both, right? So if I'm on this perseverance path and I'm getting knocked down, I'm getting hit in the gut and having gut checks. That's my growth part. But then all of a sudden I have a win, and you have to tell yourself, hey man, I had a win. It's okay to pat
Mm-hmm.
yourself on the back and say, okay, man, that was a win for me today. I don't care what it is. Maybe you didn't cheat on a diet, man. That's a super win. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then that's the next part, right? That will push you to the next level that want to continue. So that's been pretty, that's what I would say in my past. I had a problem with that. Always, that there is some positive that's going on. If it's not going my way every day, then I'm getting down on myself, right? And so as
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten a little bit older, I'm going to take the victories as much as I'm going to take the lumps. I can tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. Hey,
Hmm.
quick shout out to our good friend Jose Escobar,
Yeah,
Connected Leaders Academy leader and entrepreneur. So glad to have you watching us today. This was, just so you know, this was not meant to happen for us to be on the same show. We just got this opportunity, and Mr. Cox jumped on here with me. So
yeah,
happy you're watching, Jose. If you have any questions, anything to add to what we're talking about, please feel free.
sounds good.
The next step was the next step is take a step, right? Sometimes we
Hmm.
get stuck. We get stuck in that self wallowing, and it's just really take a step, whether it's, a little bit, or, set refocusing the goal, but take a step, because, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with just a single step, right? And it's one step after another. I have my first pretest coming up for second degree black belt in Krav Maga with you, right? And
Hmm.
I'm telling you right now, and I've told my students, like, guys, you think you go into testing, you think that I go into testing like I'm just going to blow it away and be, no problem, right? I still, I come to a test feeling the same pressure, the same stress, the same, am I ready? Did I do enough? And I hit the wall just like everybody else. And
Hmm.
all I tell myself is hit it one more time. Defend this
That's right.
attack one more time. one more time, one more time, one more time. And those several one more times at the end, when we're bowing out and we're sitting down, that's the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah, I think that, well, one thing I can tell everybody here as far as that goes, when perseverance is one thing. So when one of the things you need to do is just kind of show up, right? That's the number one thing. You got to show up, and you can't worry about it. Are you going to persevere? Like when you get dead talk tired and you hit the wall, you can't say to yourself, "Hey man, I got 5 more hours of this." No, man, let's just get through 5 minutes. Let's not
Mm-hmm.
quit in the next 5 minutes. Let's get through these 5 minutes, and then let's get through the next 5 minutes. And this is how I had to go through my training in Krav Maga worldwide, because that was tough. That was a
Mm-hmm.
tough thing for me to go through, and it wasn't something that I had to persevere through that, and it was a constant battle in my head just to quit. And so I would say that when anybody that's feeling like they want to quit, I would switch your mind and say, hey, let's not quit for the next 60 seconds at least,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Or if you're feeling like you want to quit, let's not quit today on the day that you feel like quitting. Let's talk about that tomorrow. Let's look at what tomorrow looks like. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And then you get past that hump. I think that's how I did it anyway. I can tell you that.
That's right. That's right. Well, and what's the saying go? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
That's right. Correct.
Right. Hey,
Hmm.
Patrick Prager, what's up, buddy? Thanks for tuning in. He says, if anything, we may feel extra pressure at tests with all of our students looking at us, and that's 100%. That's 100%. For sure. And while you're on here, Mr. Prager, thanks again for rolling with the guys the other day. Really appreciate you taking the time to do that. And
Was he
I
rolling with you guys and not at Sergio's class?
oh, did I just get him in
Mm,
trouble? Maybe
okay.
he was here Wednesday. He was here at 10 o'clock. He may have gone right after.
He did not.
Oh, my bad.
It's all good to
Next,
know, though.
no,
Okay,
number
let's go.
four.
He didn't. Let me tell you what he didn't do. He didn't persevere and come to class. He
Uh
just went
oh.
and did class. It's all good.
Number
What?
four, set your pace. Set your pace. Setting your pace is important because sometimes we want to reach that goal faster than is realistic, or sometimes we set a goal way out into the future and we probably could have accomplished that, a lot more. So, talk a little bit about, when you're setting goals or when you've got something in front of you, setting the pace. What are some things that you do to move yourself along that way?
Well, one thing I guess that's my main thing, right? I show up. That's the number one thing is if I'm going to get better, I'm going to show up. Like jujitsu is a perfect example of that. I don't miss that class when my instructor shows up, unless I'm out of town. You know what I mean? And then if I'm out of town, I'll take with the instructor where I'm at. But I think that you know, I think that's my number. That's me. That's my number one is I show up. I mean, that's the part of the perseverance is what it is. If you really want something, uh, time management will make that whatever is important. And I think I just tell this story quite a few all the time when it comes to perseverance. Perseverance means you have to go do it when the mood's gone. We said that, right? But you also, like if I told you today, hey Jason, you've got 32 minutes, and if you make it here and you do whatever it is you're going to do, you're going to get $100,000 check today. I'll bet you nothing else would be in your way. I don't care what you had scheduled. I bet you wouldn't call me and go, yeah, can we do that tomorrow? No, it's 32 minutes. You're going to make it happen. You're not going to make it happen on to the next. You would make that happen. If you have that same kind of push and that same kind of perseverance and persistence, you're going to see rapid growth. And the same thing is, it's like you and I, right? We go to the gym every day. Do we see results when we leave the gym? We don't. We see results over time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't see results that minute. Do I see results in my jujitsu game after I do class? I do not. But I'm telling you, 6 months down the road, after I put that stuff to play, and all of a sudden that stuff is kind of coming around a little bit, I'm like, wow, man, I get that. I'm checking that now. I'm tracking.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's the perseverance. I think that, inch by inch, life's a cinch. Yard by yard, life is hard. You know what I
Right.
mean?
No, no, for sure. Whenever I'm thinking about, I've got a goal to lose X number of pounds, whatever it is, I didn't gain it overnight, so I'm not going to lose, several months. It's going to probably take me several months, right? So, that's when we're talking about pacing, we have to be realistic. I mean, earning a black belt, you're not going to earn a black belt probably in a year. It's probably not going to happen.
Not in our
Uh,
schools, you're not. I can guarantee you that.
right. So we have to be able to understand, that part of the process as well. The last step that I mentioned at the beginning was, just keeping going, just keep going, even when it's only in your mind. And um, if we stay when we keep things in our mind. Well, let's flip it. Out of sight, out of mind, right? If we're not looking at it, we're not thinking about it, the goal is gone, right? And this ties in because I know we talked about this before too, but Jose says he uses the smarter framework by Michael Hyatt for goal setting. And I'll be honest, I don't remember every one of those steps. So if you want to type those in there, Jose, that would be awesome, because we did talk about that on another podcast. But if we're keeping it in our mind and we keep moving, thinking about the next step, all we got to do is put one foot forward and keep going from there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's anything. I tell my students all the time, perseverance will get you there. And I tell the story of myself. I said, you know why I'm Mr. Ichikawa's highest rank? It's because I didn't always sit on the right side of Mr. I. I said I just happened to persevere for years and years and years, and people keep falling off and falling off and falling off until I took over that spot. Um, and so, and that has nothing to do but with perseverance. Being the higher rank didn't come because of um, just osmosis. It came because I just didn't quit. I stayed loyal to my instructor. I did the steps. I did whatever I was supposed to do, and then I set a path for myself, and then all of a sudden here I am. It's just like you guys. I mean, you guys are all higher ranks than me. You know what I mean? So when you sit next to me, it's that didn't happen just because you guys didn't persevere. It happened because you persevered and you
Mm-hmm.
got through things. And it's not easy. It's not easy to have a family, run a business, and continue on your training. That's not an easy thing to do. If you didn't have any perseverance, it would never happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just wouldn't happen. So persevere, whatever it is. Whoever listened to this stuff, right? And when it comes to perseverance, it's not just in the martial arts. It's not just in our world. I mean, this is anything. If you're going to persevere, you got to get through the tough times, right? And you got to take the wins when you take the wins. You got to take the losses when you take the losses. And it just is uh, because how you feel in a moment can change in a moment, right? You can feel
Mm-hmm.
really good. And I watched it in competition over the weekend with my own kids that were competing. They felt that, oh, this was unfair, and then all of a sudden you're in your head because of what happened in the last match. I said that last match is over. We can't
Right.
repeat history. Let's go.
Right.
Okay, you got to erase that, and you got to persevere to the next round. You can't be wallowing in bullshit and then not be able to, get to the next round. You got to clear your head and let's rock and roll. You got to persevere to the next one.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? And I think perseverance is what's going to save you in most things. I think it's one of the better tenets that we have is perseverance, is to continue. I don't know how you tell the kids, right? We have courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and almost spirit. And when I talk about perseverance, that is persevering past anything for me not to quit, right? The indomitable spirit gives us that will not to quit. So when we're at the hitting that wall, our indomitable spirit is what gives us the will. The perseverance is what's going to make it do things when we don't feel like doing it, is what
Mm-hmm.
it is. And that was the beauty of 75 hard. You could not complete 75 hard without perseverance. That is a guarantee.
100%. Absolutely. And between me, you, and Jose here watching, we can definitely attest to that. And I pulled this up real quick. Jose said so many people are goal setters and not quite goal hitters. The hitting of the goals lies in how they are set from the start. And speaking of start and smart, I did look it up. And just a reminder, the SMART method is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound goals. I think that I just want to make sure I touched on that as well. So I want to review these five we talked about, guys, just so you can maybe take some notes or watch this video or share this video with somebody. But step number one was talking about making sure that your goals are worthy of your perseverance. Know your why. Recall your past persistence. Take a step. Set your pace. Just keep going, even if it's only in your mind. So we got a bunch of people watching, both from the karate school and maybe outside of the karate school. Like Mr. Cox said, this is not a martial arts related topic. This is a life topic. And I think
Absolutely.
it's important. We're talking about how do you guys pre-frame parents on keeping their kids coming to class prior to them wanting to quit and not persevere? Mr. Cox, you want to answer that first?
How do we do it? Well, our Black Belt Club is set up for that. So, and it doesn't mean we hit it out of the park every single time. If the parent's going to quit, the parents are going to quit. Okay. I believe if the parents use us as coaches, like we are, and say we set the parameters. If you're saying that you've given your word to coach, to the instructor, Mr. Cox, you've given your word. If you're going to want to quit, you're going to need to go speak to him yourself and putting the responsibility back on that student. Because when he comes to me, I'm going to pull out the contract and I'm going to say, this is what you signed. This is what you said you're going to do. This is why that belt's on the wall. And this is what you said you're going to do. And young men or young women, we are people of our word, and you're going to keep your word. Do you agree with that, mom and dad? Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Did you tell your mom and dad you wanted to become a black belt? Yes, I did. And you told me. Okay. Well, I'm going to hold you to that. And if you need extra help, I'm going to help you. Usually there's something lying. Okay. It's not just because they're bored. Maybe their friends got promoted before them, or maybe they feel like they're getting behind, or they're lacking confidence because they're not good. So on top of that, I said, you're not good, but I said, I'm going to tell you what I am going to do. I said, you're important to me. I want to go ahead and have a private lesson with just you and me. Nobody else here in the studio, just you and me.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just see if we can get back to having some fun and seeing where you're at. And that's how I pre-frame, and that's how I do things myself.
Mm-hmm. So for us, what we do very, very first class, very first day when a new student comes in, we do an evaluation lesson, a one-on-one lesson to help prepare them to get into their group class. But I use board breaking as a way to teach, 4 really important skills. Number one, we talk about confidence. You got to have the confidence to try something new, because if they've never done martial arts, it's a little bit intimidating at first. So you got to have that confidence. And we're going to build that confidence by achievement, and we talk about our striping system. Then we talk about focus on listening to the teacher, focus on listening to mom and dad, focus on what your goal is for the day. Then we talk about discipline, and discipline is doing what you need to do even when you don't want to. And then we talk about commitment, and we talk about on day one, first day with the board breaking, we tell them, mom and dad, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, karate is not always going to be fun. It's not always going to be fun, and there's going to be days where your son or daughter is not going to want to be, they're not going to want to come to class. I'm going to tell you that right now. It might be a week from now, a month from now, 3 months from now, a year from now. There's going to come a time where they say, I don't want to go. And this is where we have to really understand the true value of commitment, because when you make a promise and you say you're going to do something, we need to follow through. And I show them by breaking the board that we've demonstrated all of those things: the confidence to break the board, the focus to break the board, the discipline to hit the target, not hit me, or hit the target, not lose control, and the commitment and the follow through of going through the board. Because I say, look, you might hit this board and it won't break. If it doesn't break, what are you going to do? You have 2 choices. You can quit and give up, or you can try again. What are you going to do? So all of these thoughts are tied into that commitment and tied into the expectation of martial arts, because most people coming in don't know that martial arts is a commitment sport. A lot of people, and Patrick says it too, he's run into a lot of parents lately not wanting to push their kids to continue. It's interesting because I hear that comment, I don't want to force my child to do something they don't want to do. Well, I disagree, because you force them to do just about everything, including cleaning their room, doing homework, eating Brussels sprouts. The list goes on. We make them do things all the time. The fact of the matter is, if the parents no longer see the value of your classes or the martial arts in general, that's when they start making excuses, and that's when they start stepping away.
Yep, that's true.
So, wow, 25 minutes. We usually keep this, closer to 15 to 20 minutes, just a quick chat.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you
Okay.
jumped on with me and had this
Not a
conversation.
problem.
I appreciate it.
All right.
So, guys, check in with us next week, Thursday. Usually got Master K on here, and we're talking about Raptor Extreme, but I should probably create a video, or next time put up a video for AKMF so we can show them some cool stuff.
All good to go.
All right, cool.
All
Well,
right.
thank you, Mr. Cox, and
All right,
thank
man.
you, everybody, for watching. I will see
Okay.
you all on the next time. Have a great rest of the day. Take care.
See you guys.